Hey, what is going on there, everyone? Today I want to make a really quick video talking about how exactly you could be able to cut out 80% of the work in your business and still be able to scale and make an extra 1 to 2 deals every month. So the typical wholesale and real estate investing model of finding motivated sellers is, buying leads online, buying lists online, using referrals, getting JV deals, or just going out and actually driving for dollars around different neighborhoods. Now, the thing about that model is it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of different processes, and at the end of the day, your conversion rate is actually pretty low on the amount of quote unquote leads that you're getting. So let's kind of just walk through each and every step of the way to figure out what we can do to cut out each part and actually make something more productive that doesn't require any hands-on actions. So if you're like any other wholesaler or real estate investor out there, the typical process, let's go with step one. Step one is to actually pick a market and actually find motivated sellers or distressed properties in that market. So what would be the first thing to do after you pick a market? Well, the next thing to do is actually go out on websites like ListSource, PropStream, RealFlow, Freedom Software, any of those other softwares where you can actually purchase lists of public records that have already been indicated that they have some kind of distress situation. Either they're vacant properties, pre-foreclosures, and the list goes on and on. So once you have that list, the next thing to do is you have that list, it's a bunch of properties, you actually have to go out and skip trace these properties. Now, what is skip tracing? You should probably know what that is by now because you're actually doing these things. But the process of skip tracing is actually finding out the contact information, the name and number of that property address owner, because not all the time will they be living at that property. So once you have that skip trace list, the next thing to do is actually go out and contact these people. Usually you're going to do direct mail, you're going to do cold calling. Some people actually go out there and door knock the property and see if someone's there and then talk to them that way. Now, that's great and all, but when you think about it, how many lists or how many properties does it take before you actually hit an actual motivated seller? So the thing is, you can buy thousands of leads online or thousands of properties online, but when you actually skip trace them, a lot of these properties are on the do not call list. What that means is you're not even allowed to text message them, you can't text message them, you can't cold call them, you can't bother them because they already opted in to not be solicited. So other than that, a lot of the numbers that you get when you skip trace don't even work anymore because they're outdated, and you have to have a really good skip tracing service, and typically you're going to get about a 4% conversion rate on that. So after that, the next thing you have to do after you skip trace, let's say that you bought a list of 1,000 different properties, you spend a couple $100 on that, and then you skip trace that at probably around, depends on who you go with, maybe 1 cent, sometimes 5 cents. But on 1,000 properties, that does add up every time you have to do that, every single time that you get a new list. So once you have that list, once you skip trace those, you have to go out there and start cold calling these leads. So once you cold call them and you verify that these numbers actually do work, you're going to be going through hundreds of numbers every single day, hammering the phone. And pretty much it's not only just my opinion, but anyone can tell you that cold calling will drain your soul. Cold calling if you can go through it, yeah, it'll make you tough, but it's not built for everyone. And other than that, most people also do direct mail. Direct mail means that you're pretty much going to pitch them through a actual postcard that goes to their mailbox, their mailing address, and within a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks or so, they finally get that postcard in the mail, and then they're able to contact you inbound. That's great and all. Inbound leads are great, and honestly, inbound leads are the best. But the thing about that is it takes a long time, and your response rate is actually extremely low. I don't know the exact statistics, but they pretty much are. So let's say that you are driving for dollars every single day. What would be the next thing you do after you drive for dollars? Well, every day you're probably going to spend about 2 to 4 hours every day going to different neighborhoods, and taking pictures of different houses. Maybe you'll use Deal Machine, and what they'll do is they'll actually send out a postcard for you for each property once you take a picture of it. Now that's great and all, but when you think about it, is that actually scalable? If you're a single one or two man team, is that really scalable? Like, what can you do? Like, if you're out driving for dollars, what happens once you start getting leads coming in? You're not able to drive for dollars anymore, and you can't really scale that because it takes hours and hours to be out driving to different neighborhoods and just looking around, just trying to find a house that has these indications that it's distressed. And on top of that, you still have to skip trace these properties. You still have to cold call them. You still have to do direct mail or door knock. But the thing about that is it's a completely inefficient system. Not only because it takes a lot of time, but because the conversion rate is extremely low and it takes a lot of work. People tell you that, yeah, it's all about the numbers. Just keep hammering away at the phones and you're eventually going to get a motivated seller. Well, the thing is, you can go ahead and just buy lists. It is easy. It costs a little bit of money. You can SMS them, you can skip trace them, and then text them or send voicemail drops or cold call them. But the thing is, there's another conversion killer right there, which is the fact that a lot of people, like I said earlier, are still on that do not disturb list or do not call list. So if you have all these options here that are really not really efficient in this market of 2020, what can you do to actually start scaling your business without actually sacrificing your own body, without sacrificing your own time, and without sacrificing your soul to cold calling? Well, there is this known thing called Facebook ads. Why are Facebook ads actually pretty good to use? Well, let's take a look at it for a second. What are the exact step-by-step procedures that happen when you run a Facebook ad? Well, you have to create the ad, you have to post the ad, and then leads will come to you, and then you go ahead and give your cash offer. So what did we cut out there? We cut out the entire prospecting part. And what does it take? It takes us to write up a little ad that's going to work. We could just use ads that already work and just copy and paste them and then edit it a little bit because we don't want to just use the same ads that everyone else uses, and then just run them in our own market. If I want to run ads in Philadelphia, then if I want to buy distressed properties in Philadelphia, I'll just go ahead and go on Facebook, target Philadelphia, and then start getting motivated seller leads in that market. It's not hard. When they start opting in, all you have to do is call them. And the thing about Facebook ads is they're not cold leads. These people already saw you. They saw your business. They actually took the time out of their day to fill out an information. They actually raised their hand saying, hey, Josh, I want you to buy my property. I want you to buy it for cash. And I need to get the heck out of this distressed situation that I'm in. So how much work does it really take you if they're coming to you? You don't have to sell them on anything. They've already bought into the idea that they need to work with you. So if you are struggling to get to the next stage or even getting your first deal coming in, then I highly suggest you stop, ditch the old school methods, stop cold calling, stop buying leads, and actually go ahead and run a Facebook ad, run a social media campaign, and start getting inbound leads that are going to come to you. And you don't have to do 80% of the work just to get that significant 20%, which is actually getting your cash offer and signing the contract and then closing the deal. So I hope you liked that video, and if you have any questions, just reach out and I will answer them for you. See you later.